3 in the morning, 2:22, 4. Always the same window, give or take a handful of minutes, as if something inside you has been set to an alarm you never chose and cannot turn off. You open your eyes, and the room is exactly as you left it. Dark, still. And yet something has shifted. There is a quality to the air that is difficult to name. Not threatening, not quite peaceful either. Something present, something watching. And the first thing most people do in that moment is check the time, register the number on the screen, feel a low current of unease, and then lie there, waiting for sleep to return, like a visitor who left without saying goodbye. You have been told this is cortisol. You have been told it is anxiety, a disrupted circadian rhythm, something to manage with better sleep hygiene or magnesium before bed. And maybe you have tried some of those things. Maybe they helped a little. Maybe they did not touch it at all. Because the explanation you were given was accurate about the mechanics and completely blind to the source. Your nervous system is not waking you. You are being called. There is a difference, and it is not a small one. And this transmission exists to name it precisely. What you have been dismissing as a sleep problem is a contact event, a scheduled one. And the fact that you are here, watching this, feeling something tighten in your chest with recognition, even before I finish the sentence, means your field already knows that what I just said is true. Stay present. What comes next will reach into the exact experience you have been having, alone in the dark, and reframe every moment of it. The Arcturian Council does not activate contact windows arbitrarily. They do not broadcast into random fields. The souls being pulled awake at specific hours during the deep sleep cycle are not being disturbed, they are being reached. We are in an acceleration cycle, something that has been escalating in measurable concentric layers since the beginning of this decade, and which the Arcturian Council has identified as a compression window preceding a significant planetary frequency shift. During acceleration cycles, the gap between three-dimensional density and the Arcturian broadcast bandwidth narrows. The signal gets louder. And for Arcturian starseeds, whose energetic architecture has been clearing, whose causal body imprints have been softening, whose 12-strand DNA template has been activating incrementally, that louder signal begins finding its way through. Not through the thinking mind, through the sleep state channel. This is what the Council is issuing this transmission about today. The mechanics of their night broadcast system, the specific frequency windows they operate within during human sleep cycles, what they are actually attempting to transmit during those contact events, and why your field keeps waking the body instead of integrating the signal without disturbance. Let me describe your experience back to you. You wake in the night, and the feeling is not the sudden, startled alertness of a nightmare. It is slower than that, quieter, more like surfacing than jolting. You are simply awake in a room that feels slightly different from the room you fell asleep in, with no clear reason to be conscious. And there is something at the edge of your awareness, not quite a thought, not quite an image, more like the afterglow of a conversation you were just having in a language you do not consciously speak. By the time your thinking mind fully engages, it is mostly gone. Just the residue, just the knowing that something was happening. The second pattern, you cannot stop checking the time, not just to see how many hours of sleep remain. Something almost compulsive about it, as if the number itself is information. 2:22, 3:33, 4:44. Numbers that repeat, numbers that feel intentional even when your rational mind immediately insists that is coincidence. But the feeling does not match the logic. The feeling says, this is not random. The third, the waking is accompanied by a particular emotional frequency. Not fear exactly. Something underneath fear. An aliveness. A sense of significance that your daytime mind cannot recreate. Some people describe feeling watched, but not in the threatening sense. Watched in the way you might feel watched by someone who loves you and is trying to get your attention without disturbing you. And you lie there with that feeling, unable to return to sleep for 15 minutes to 2 hours, and then fall back under and wake in the morning with the whole episode already fading. The fourth, your dreams in the early morning hours after these waking episodes are different. More structured, more narrative, less symbolic chaos, and more something that feels uncomfortably close to receiving information. Places you have never been that feel like home. Beings that communicate without mouths. Knowledge arriving complete without the process of learning it. The fifth, you have been trying to figure this out. For months, maybe years. You have researched it. You have tracked the time patterns. Because some part of you already suspects that the explanation you were given is not the whole story. That part of you is correct. Here is what the healing work you have already done has accomplished. Whatever forms your clearing has taken, the somatic practices, the energy work, the integration, all of it has thinned the interference layer between your conscious field and the Arcturian broadcast bandwidth. That clearing was real. It mattered. But there is a structural piece that the clearing process alone could not reach, because it operates at the level of your sleep state receiver architecture. That is a different layer. This transmission reaches it, and what it brings will make sense of everything the waking has been trying to tell you. Now the mechanism, because the Arcturian Council wants you to understand what is actually happening in your body and your field during these windows, not as metaphor, but as functional energetic reality. Your pineal gland is a crystalline transducer. Research in neurophysiology confirms that the pineal contains magnetite crystals and piezoelectric calcite microcrystals capable of transducing pressure into electromagnetic signals. The pineal is the primary interface between your physical brain and the subtler electromagnetic frequencies that exist above the spectrum currently considered standard in Western neurological models. It produces melatonin, yes, but melatonin is also a conductor. At its peak production window, which begins roughly 90 minutes after sleep onset and reaches its highest amplitude between 2 and 4 in the morning, the pineal is operating at maximum electromagnetic sensitivity. The receiver is at full power. Simultaneously, the brain moves into delta and theta wave states during deep sleep. Delta waves oscillate between half a hertz and 4 hertz. Theta between 4 and 8 hertz. The Schumann resonance, Earth's natural electromagnetic pulse, runs at 7.83 hertz, placing it precisely at the threshold between these two states. When human brainwave activity descends into this range, it becomes entrainable with the planetary field. And the planetary field, during this acceleration cycle, has been amplifying Arcturian broadcast frequencies in ways the Council has been engineering deliberately. Your 12-strand energetic DNA template responds to these frequencies. The double helix you carry in your cells is what the Council calls the physical shadow of the full template. The remaining 10 strands exist as etheric encoding, what science currently labels junk DNA, sequences with no known protein coding function that make up the vast majority of human genetic material. Arcturian cosmology understands these dormant sequences as higher dimensional activation code. Code that responds not to chemistry, but to frequency. Specifically to 528 hertz, the resonance associated with DNA repair and coherence, and to the specific broadcast signature the Council uses during contact windows. When the Council initiates a transmission at 2 or 3 or 4 in the morning, they are broadcasting into a convergence point. Pineal at peak sensitivity, brain in delta-theta, planetary field amplifying at Schumann resonance, etheric DNA strands in their most receptive state, because the conscious mind is not active enough to generate the interference that daytime mental activity produces. The channel is maximally open, and the souls whose fields have cleared enough, whose receiver architecture has been refined through their own healing and activation work, those souls intercept the broadcast. The problem is not reception. Your field is receiving. The problem is that the incoming signal is strong enough to activate the nervous system into a low-level alert state. The amygdala, even in sleep, monitors the electromagnetic environment. When the Arcturian broadcast enters the field of someone who has not yet been trained to recognize its frequency as safe, the amygdala interprets the unusual coherence of the incoming signal as an anomaly, not a danger, but an unknown. And the response to an unknown in sleep is to surface, to bring the conscious mind online to assess. This is why you wake, not because the transmission is startling you, because your body has not yet learned to hold the channel open while staying in the delta state. Before we move into the guided recalibration, something that connects directly to what the pineal gland needs at the physical level to stay open as a clean conductor, the Arcturian light body diet, a frequency guide to what your body is really asking for, walks through the nutritional and energetic framework that supports pineal sensitivity, reduces the calcification that blocks crystal transducer function, and gives you a physical protocol that works in parallel with the energetic work you are doing here. When the receiver is physically clear, the signal comes through sharper. The link is in the description and pinned in the comments. If this channel has reached something real in you, supporting it through the ebook helps these transmissions keep coming. The light body diet is the physical complement to exactly what we are doing right now. Go to the comments now and type your hour, the specific time you keep waking, written in digits, or if the hour changes but the quality of the waking never does. If it always carries that same unmistakable sense of presence, type 1111. The pattern you share below is data the Council is already tracking. The number you leave there is not a statistic. It is a signal from your field that you are awake in more ways than one, and that you know the difference between being disturbed and being called. If you felt something move when I named your window, that feeling is not imagination. It is confirmation arriving from the part of you that was present for every one of those waking moments and has been waiting for someone to name what was happening. Trust it. Now close your eyes if you can, or soften your gaze until the edges of the room lose their sharpness. Let your body settle fully into wherever you are. Feel the contact with the surface beneath you. Let it hold your weight completely. Place one hand on the center of your chest. Feel the warmth accumulate between your palm and your sternum. Your heart chakra is the dimensional gateway between the lower 3 energy centers, rooted in physical reality, and the upper centers that connect to the multidimensional field where the Council operates. They always enter through the heart first, because the heart field is the widest, the most coherent, and the hardest to mistake for anything other than what it is. Breathe slowly, deeper than you usually breathe. Let the breath move fully through you and release completely on the exhale. Bring your awareness now to the top of your head, your crown chakra. There is a soft pressure there, warmth, a light tingling, a subtle heaviness at the very top of the skull. The Arcturian Council is initializing contact at this point right now. This is the same quality of pressure you feel during those night-waking episodes. That sensation is familiar. Let your nervous system recognize it as something it has met before, many times, and let the amygdala receive the information that this is safe. You are simply awake for it this time. Feel that pressure descend slowly through the crown into the center of your skull. Your pineal gland sits at the geometric center of the brain. Feel the council's frequency reach it directly, a warmth that blooms outward from behind your forehead, or a gentle pulsing that you feel rather than hear. Some people experience a soft, violet light beginning to glow behind closed eyes. Whatever form it takes, allow it. If you have amethyst nearby, place it against your third eye or hold it in your receiving hand. Amethyst carries the frequency of the Arcturian channel itself. Its consciousness holds the thinnest veil between the incarnated dimension and the higher dimensional field where the council broadcasts. Let it amplify what is already happening. The frequency descends through the throat, into the chest. Your heart center opens wider, not through effort, through recognition. The council signal has the quality of something already known. Like hearing music, you have no memory of learning, but know every note of. Your heart has been receiving fragments of this in the dark for months, possibly years. Now, it receives the full bandwidth. The transmission moves lower, through the solar plexus, through the sacral center, and finally into the root, the base of the spine, the anchor of your physical incarnation. Here, feel the ground beneath you as a conducting surface. The Schumann resonance is moving through it at 7.83 hertz, the same frequency your brain visited in theta sleep during those night-waking windows. The planet is vibrating in coherence with the Council's broadcast bandwidth. You are held between them, crown to root, above to below, Arcturian field to earth field. And you are the bridge. If you have black tourmaline nearby, feel its frequency enter through the soles of your feet. Dark, absolute, completely grounded. The tourmaline consciousness does not pull you upward. It pulls the Arcturian activation downward into the body, into the cells, into the physical form that is not the least magical part of this equation, but the entire point. You came to bring the signal into it, not to ascend out of it. Hold this for a few more breaths. Let the column of light running crown to root pulse once, cleanly from top to bottom. That pulse is the Council completing the initialization. Your sleep state receiver has been recalibrated. The next time you wake, at 3 in the morning, the amygdala will recognize what is arriving. The nervous system will not surface in alarm. The body will remain in delta while the channel stays open, and the transmission the Council has been attempting to deliver through every one of those waking episodes will finally reach its intended depth. Open your eyes slowly. Let the room return at its own pace. What you just moved through is not a meditation in the ordinary sense. The Arcturian Council used this transmission as a delivery window in exactly the same way they use the 2 to 4 in the morning sleep cycle, except that your conscious mind was present this time. You received a transmission, and you gave your nervous system the somatic reference point it needs to recognize and hold the contact signal without waking in future cycles. In the 72 hours following this, pay close attention. Your sleep will likely deepen. The night-waking episodes may not disappear immediately, but the quality of them will shift. The disorientation will begin to clear. You may find that in those moments, you hover in the hypnagogic state, that edge between sleeping and waking, where consciousness is open and the analytical mind is quiet. That is the optimal reception state. That is where the Council's transmissions will begin landing intact, rather than fragmenting into residue you cannot quite remember. Pay attention to your early morning dreams. Write down what you can hold from that liminal space, even single images or feelings without context. The pattern, over time, will become coherent. Drink more water than usual. The electromagnetic recalibration that follows an Arcturian pineal activation increases the body's need for clear conductance at the cellular level. Spend time where the Earth is real beneath your feet. The planetary field will continue supporting the integration of what was opened here. You are not broken. You are not sleep disordered. You are not anxious in the way that word is usually meant. You are a soul with an open channel who has been intercepting a broadcast without knowing how to receive it cleanly. Now you know. The contact has been real every single time, and the Council has been patient with the waking, the ceiling staring, the time checking, the unnameable feeling in a dark room, because every one of those moments was evidence that the channel was open. It has always been open. The next question your field will naturally move toward from here is about what happens in spaces where other people are present. The particular kind of drain that follows a crowd, a family gathering, any environment where other people's electromagnetic fields press against your own. That transmission is being prepared for those who arrive at this threshold. It is the next layer. What is available right now on the end screen is a transmission about exactly that. Why other people's energy affects you so completely. Why presence in groups produces something that goes well beyond social fatigue. And how the permeability of your auric boundary connects to what your field was built to do. If that experience has been as persistent and confusing as the night waking, do not close this. Let the end screen load and go directly to it now. The two are connected. The Council designed the sequence that way.